Welcome to a new video lesson. In today's lesson, I will analyze a part of The Good Person of Szechwan by Bertolt Brecht. So, let's begin. Scene 3 of The Good Person of Szechwan is situated in a public park and the time is an evening. Okay, so evening in a public park. So the stage direction shows that a young man who is in tattered clothes is watching an aeroplane which is evidently making high sweep over the park. He is making for a big willow tree by taking a rope out from his pocket. Okay, and he looks around him when two prostitutes come up to him. One of them is old, the other is the niece from the family of 8. Okay, so the family of 8 who came to Shente's house is here. So the young one asks, "Evening fellow, come home with me, dear." So she is asking this person. The person is young son, Yangsun. Okay, young son to come with her in order to satisfy him. Okay, but the other side of the coin is by that she will be able to earn something. Okay, but the next line shows the economic condition of the man over here. Okay, how? Son says that it could be done, ladies, if you stand me a meal. So young son says that he is willing to go with them, with the prostitutes, if they give him a meal. This young son, as the character list shows, that an unemployed airman. So he can fly planes, but he is unemployed. So what we see here is that the economic condition is such that the survival for food is more important than enjoyment. Is more important than the enjoyment at that time. Okay, so for the old one, "Are you nuts?" The young one and says to the young one to go. He is just a waste of time. That's out of work pilot. So we get to know that the young son is a pilot and it is of no use for them to spend their time over here because he won't be able to pay anything. The old one, there's always a chance. The young one says that, but there won't be a soul in the park now, it's going to rain. So the situation is such that as they are searching for clients, it won't be possible for them to get any customer. So they walk on. Son looks around him, pulls a rope and throws it over the branch. So what he is trying to do, he is trying to commit suicide. Okay, he is trying to hang himself, but he is interrupted again. The two prostitutes return rapidly. They do not see him. The young one, it's going to pelt with rain. Shente is walking up. The old one, "Hello, here she is, the bitch. She got your lot into trouble, all right?" So they are saying that Shente was the one who got the family of 8 into trouble. The young one, "Not her, it was a cousin." Okay, so this is a reminiscing factor that is being incorporated for the readers or the audience who are seeing that if anyone finds a symbol or any similarity between them, it is this dialogue will clear that out, that it was not Shente but Shuita. Okay, though both are the same person, we know that, but here it has not been said clearly. The old one, I have loudly I haven't any bone to pick with her. Why, there's our fancy friend with all the money. She is got a shop. She has got a shop, but she still wants to pinch our boys of us. So they are thinking that Shente is in the park in order to get some customer. So they are saying that she is now rich. Shente is now rich as she has lots of money and everything, but she is always here to get the customers out of them. Okay, but actually that is not the case. Shente is not here to return back to her business of prostitution. Okay, Shente, don't jump down my throat. I am going down to the tea house by the lake. So she is not here to do any business. The young one says, is it true you are marrying a widower with 3 children? So as we know that the advertisement was sent out, the plan was made. So they asked for, yes, I am meeting him there. So the plan is for her to marry, or to at least for this time being to marry a widower who has 3 children. So she is going to meet that person in a tea house by the lake. So what we see here is that survival for a single woman, survival for a woman of questionable reputation according to society, who has a questionable reputation, is very problematic, is very difficult. So she needs the support of the powerful. She needs the support of the patriarchal system, where there will be a husband who will be there to support her. Okay, so this notion is being questioned, this notion is being presented over here. Though she is an independent businesswoman, she can do her business, but still she needs the support of the male, uh, of the male who is an imaginary cousin, but a person who can take care of everything which comes into Shente's way of living life without any problem. He tries to solve all the problems for Shente. Okay. Similarly, the marriage proposal, or the marriage that has been set out, is for to support the weaker sections of the society. Okay, so-called weaker sections of the society, because unless she is married, she won't be able to keep the shop, as she has to pay $200 to Mrs. Mitsu. So, as we have talked about that, well, son impatiently, do your crackling somewhere else, will you? Isn't there anywhere you can get a bit of peace? So the old, shut up, exeunt the 2 prostitutes. Son calls after them, scavengers, to the audience. Even in this remote spot, they fish tirelessly for victims. Even in the thickets in the rain, they pursue the desperate hunt for custom. So son is saying that he is totally depressed. He is not willing to uh, uh, hear their talk and everything. So he says them to go away. Shente angry. Why call have you got to slang them? She sees the rope. Oh, what are you grouping at? What's what's the rope for? Shente asks, what's the rope for? Move on, sister, move on. I have got no money, nothing, not a copper. And if I had, I would buy a drink of water, not now. So, Shente sees that son is trying to commit suicide, and that leads Shente to be worried, Shente to be in a position where she is again caring for son. Okay, but its son says that he has no money, he has nothing left, not even a copper coin in order to survive. Okay, and if I had, I would buy a drink of water, not you. So Sun is thinking that Shente is a prostitute who has come here to fetch the customer, but so Sun is saying that if I had a copper, I would rather drink a glass of water rather than be rather than enjoying with a prostitute. Okay, Shente, what's the rope for? You are not to do it. Mind your own business. And they talk about it. Shente, it's raining. Don't you try sheltering under my tree. Shente remains motionless in the rain. So as the rain starts, Shente is giving excuse that as the rain is on, she won't be able to move out. But Sun is saying that saying her to move out of that tree and find shelter in some other tree. Sun, why not keep up, sister? It's no use. You can't do business with me. Besides, you are too ugly. Bandy legs. Shente, that's not true. I don't want to see them. All right, come under the bloody tree since it's raining. So, Sun is still thinking that Shente, this girl is after getting her business done. Okay, so Sun is saying that he is not willing to do any business with her, and he is not interested in her. Okay, so Shente says that is not true. The questionable reputation, the questionable idea that has been presented, or the questionable appearance that has been described here is not her. Sun says that Sun asks Shente to come under the tree as it is raining. She approaches slowly and sits down on the tree. They talk along. Why do you want to do that? That is, why do you want to commit suicide? Sun says that, would you like to know? Then I tell you, so as to be rid of you. Pause. Do you know what an airman is? So this is a very significant fact for people who do suicide. Okay, so it is mainly because they do not have anyone to speak to. Most suicide attempts could have been avoided and can be avoided if that person have genuinely a person to talk to, who will not judge, who will not give explanations, who will not give solutions to everything, will not try to solve out everything and each and everything, because all things cannot be solved. Some things are not so easy. Besides, in such a state, when one is willing to commit suicide, in such a state one is not willing to see logic. There the person is much more willing to see compassion. Okay, a person would require a heart to be lended to him or her. Okay, where one is hearing to him. That's what makes the difference. If you have a heart, if you have a person who will listen to you, that suicide attempt can be avoided. Okay, so you can give it a try, not the suicide, but hearing to someone, relieving the person of the pain. Okay, so Shente is being asked that if she knows what an airman is, because young son is an airman. Shente, yes, I once saw some airmen in a tea house. Oh, no, you don't. One or two windy idiots. I am an airman, he says everything, tailor type, and he says that he is a airman, but airman not wanted. He is not wanted anywhere because he became an airman without an aircraft, a male pilot without a mail. So he is out of job. That is being said over here, that he is a trained aircraft flyer. He can fly planes, but he is not wanted anywhere. And also he can fly male pilots where the males are being taken. So remember, this is not the time which is being described here is not the time of emails, but the letters were transported by aeroplanes also at that time. Okay, so even couriers are delivered through planes. Okay, so this male, he is a male pilot without a male for him. Shen, I think I do understand all the same. No, I am telling you, you can't understand, and the means you can't understand. So he is in such a position where he is being irrational, and it is quite justified that him being irrational because of the problems that he has faced. But whatever, but this vulnerability always leads to some bonding. Okay, that bonding is uh, supposed or is going to be developed between Shente and young son. Shente is a compassionate person, that is seen from the dialogue that she makes here, and the example that she gives, that in a childhood they had a crane which had a broken wing. Okay, it was very tame, and it and didn't mind their teasing. Okay, the crane board actually. Okay, so but it would scream at the children at sometimes when they were teasing very fast, or were running after the crane very fast. But the crane was quite okay. It was tame. But when autumn and in spring, when the birds flew over the village, they could see, that is Shente as a child could see, the crane was very restless. It is a common thing about human nature also, because we always compare ourselves, we always try to see ourselves when we always try to see ourselves from the perspective of what others are getting. When we see that my friend is getting so things, when he is getting into master's degree, when he is getting a job, or when he is getting something better than mine, then we obviously get a kind of jealous, and also we also have the feeling of getting that same. It is human tendency. Okay, because we feel that this is also deserved by me. The same thing is felt by the crane and also by young son. Okay, so basic nature, as a parable play through the parables, it has always been presented the human condition, the moralistic tradition of the society, the morals which should be followed is shown through the parable plays, right? So here also the characteristics is the same. The situation of the crane is equals to the situation of the human beings, or the other way around, the situation of the human beings are same as the situation of the crane. Here for santan is young son, Shente makes that. Okay, young son, for the situation for young son and is the same. He is not able to fly, and that is creating a restlessness within him. Okay. Sun says that stop crying. Shente does, says yes, it is a bad for the complexion. I am stopping. She dries her tears from her sleeve, leaning against the tree, but without turning towards her, he reaches for her face. Son, you don't even know how to wipe your face properly. So she's been cared for. Son, if you got to sit there and stop me from hanging myself, you might at least say something. So Shente is such a pure soul when she is in her own self that she wants to help the person but does not know how to. That is what is said in the next line, next dialogue of Shente. I don't know what. So Sun is saying that if you are willing to save me from doing suicide, then you should say something in order to that I do not do suicide, right? But she is not saying anything. She is not saying anything, and rather keeping very quiet. Shente, it frightens me. I am sure you only felt that because the evening is so dreary. To the audience. In our country, there should be no dreary evenings, or tall bridges, or over rivers, even the hour between night and morning, and the whole winter season too. That is dangerous. For in the face of misery, only a little is needed before men start throwing their unbearable life away. So, what we see here is that the fourth wall is broken. There is a constantly reminding the audience that they are not to be carried away. They are not to be carried away. Here is saying that there is a constant breaking of the fourth wall, which is also done by Yang Sun in the previous previous dialogue, 3 to 4 dialogues back. Okay, so again the characteristics of epic theater is shown here. So Sun, tell me about yourself. So this thing that has been said to the audience at once breaks the fourth wall, and at the same time it shows that the situation, the dreariness or the wholesomeness of the winter, the loneliness of the winter, that leads people to be filled with misery, that leads people to think more about it, okay, and leads them to suicide. So Son, tell me about yourself. What is there? I have got a small shop. Son, ironically. Oh, so you haven't got a flat. You have got a shop. Shente family. I have got a shop, but before that I was on the streets. And the shop, I take it, was a gift of the gods. Shente, yes. Son, one fine evening they stood before you and said, here's some money for you. Shente, laughing quietly one morning. So they are having fun. They are making fun of the situations, and you are not exactly entertaining. So they are laughing. They are enjoying each other's company, and at the same time they are coming to know about each other. Okay, Shente, after a pause, I can play the zither a bit and do imitations. In a deep voice, she imitates a dignified gentleman. How idiotic! I must have come without my wallet. So they are talking about themselves and everything. But what we see here is that the bonding between Shente and Sun is developing. So, Son, but now you are going to marry one, the one in the tea house by the lake? Shente says nothing, as she has not made any choice, but she was getting to know that person. Okay, but before that he met Sun. Sun, as a matter of interest, what do you know of love? Shente, everything. Sun, nothing, sister. Or was it perhaps pleasant? Shente, no. Sun strokes her face without turning towards her. Sun, is it pleasant? Yes. Sun, easily satisfied. Are you are? God, what a town. Shente, haven't you got friends? So they are coming to know each other. Uh, a whole lot, but none that like hearing, and I am still out of a job. Underline. Not for your exams, but for your life. Okay, life will take more exams. A whole lot, but none that like hearing. So you always have many friends, but there is no one to listen to. For Sun is case is same. You might have 3,000, 2,000, 4,000, 1,000 friend in Facebook, but hardly anyone is willing to listen to you. If you have that friend who is willing to listen to you at any time of the day, it might be 3 o'clock or 6 a.m. or everything, 3 o'clock in the morning, okay, or 6 a.m. or whatever be it, or any time. You have the best thing in the world. You do not need thousands or 5,000 friends in Facebook or anywhere else, but that one friend will be enough. That is what is being projected here. The loneliness of human beings is mainly because no one is there to hear from him. Okay, no one is there to listen to you. You might feel lonely. You must have felt lonely. It is because you have lost the touch with your friends, not because you have moved away, but because no one is there to listen to you. Few days back I was reading something on Buddhism and Buddha's life, and there I read an interesting fact that interesting thing that Buddha said to his disciple Purna. What he said was that having been deliver. Okay, so if something is delivered to you, you should also give that to someone else. I am not saying that if you buy some phone, iPhone or any phone, and with your own money, you have to give that to another person. But he is speaking about the he is speaking about the moral preachings, the kindness, or any kind of attention or anything, where if you are delivered with something, you need to give the same thing to others also. Okay, you have received any help from someone, then you should also help others. Okay, having been console. If you have received any consolation from any person, you should also give that back to others. Not the very same person who consoled you can give it to that person also, but you should also give that to others. So in that order, a chain will be created where compassion, benevolence will be spread all over. Okay, being arrived thyself at the farther bank enable others to arrive there also. Okay, so if you arrive at any place, if you can reach at any place, you should also help others to reach there. You should not be a person who is constantly worrying and constantly thinking only about yourself. You should be a giving person. Okay, you should help others to live a life not only for yourself but also for others by helping them. So if you have got anything, you should also deliver that. You should also help them get that. You should, if anyone is in problem, you should also help that person. You should also console that person. Okay, as you have been done so, right? Similarly, when you achieve something, you are not to become haughty and filled with pride. You are supposed to be docile. You are supposed to be helpful towards other people in order to help them to achieve those things. In that order, everyone will be able to develop their own existence, their develop from their own position, right? That is what is being spoken over here, that in modern times we do not have these kinds of things, right? We hardly have any friend who will listen to us unjudgingly. Most of the people listen to us in order to judge or pass on what we are saying, right? If I say that I have this thing, this problem, the person who will listen, he or she will gossip it around to other people, right? Most of the things. So you should be unbiased, you should not be biased, okay? And you should not be judging when listening to others, whatever. So he has friends who do not listen to him, and he asks, do you have a friend? And then something, Shente hesitatingly says that a cousin. Then don't you trust him an inch? Shente replies that he was only here once. Now he has gone off, is never coming back. But why do you talk as if you had given up hope? So he is being asked that why he has given up hope. So Son says that just talk on. Those who have least to eat give most gladly. So Son says that at least it is something to hear a human voice. So he is willing to listen to the voice of Shente, because he has nothing else. No one speaks to him. He has no one to speak to. Shente very eagerly speaks that there are still friendly people for all over the wretchedness. An old man held me up and even gave me a penny, and everything he is speaking. She says that those who have least to eat give most gladly. Okay, so I suppose people just like showing what they are good at, and how can they do it better than by being friendly. So what we see here is that Shente's nature is totally opposite to her cousin. Okay, where he is a haughty one, here Shente is docile, she is benevolent, she is caring, she is compassionate. Okay, she is willing to see the brighter side of life. For her, the glass is half full. Okay, she is a Pangasian, where she is idiotically hopeful. She is so optimistic that she cannot see anything, any harm that is being done to her. Though it would be wrong to say that she cannot see that. She can see that, but she cannot do anything about it. Why I have changed my sentence is because if she could not have seen that, she won't have been able to change herself into Shweta. Okay, again and again. As we know that Shweta will come again, so she can see that harm is being done to her, but she lacks the power, she lacks the position in order to revolt against it or take step against it. Okay, so Sun says it does not seem hard by your definition. So what Shentes believes is that those who have the least to eat give most gladly, which is very important in this context, that most of the powerful, most of the richest person are the most miserly ones. You remember Euclid, right? Pot of gold. Similarly, here we see that most, if you a picture of a Syrian girl, Syrian baby, I think, or a Palestine baby, I don't remember exactly, or the Israelite in those Middle East countries, the picture came out. A photographer, a journalist, photographer journalist took a picture uh, of a baby who of what, maybe 2 or 3 years old. She was eating something, and when the photographer approached her to went close to her to take photograph, the child spread her hand with food towards the photographer, as if to offer the food, because she knows what the pain of hunger is. Okay, that is what is seen here. It may who have the least to eat give the most gladly. The person who has the broken soul, who has a broken heart, listens to other people most ardently. And the people who has never faced any rejection or never faced any problems in life will be so self-engrossed that he or she won't be able to comprehend the others' thinking or others' beliefs. So the person who has lost so many things will be a good hearer, would be good at hearing, good at giving, and everything. Okay. Sun says it does not seem hard by your definition. Sente, that was a raindrop. Where? Between my eyes. More to the left and more to the right. More to the left. Good. After a moment, sleepily. So you are through with men? Shente smiling. But my legs are in brandy. Perhaps not. They are making jokes and everything. They are having fun. Santa warily leaning back against her. But as I haven't eaten for 2 days or drunk for one, I couldn't love you, sister, even if I wanted. So the feelings of love is growing. In the meantime, it is good in the rain. What the condition of Sun is that is young Sun, is that he hasn't eaten for 2 days and did not drink a glass, even a glass of water for one. So he could not love anyone in this condition. Shente, it is good in rain. When the water seller appears, he sings. This is the water song. Okay, the water seller songs in the rain. I sell water, who will taste it? I sell water, who will taste it? Who would want to it in this weather? All my labor has been wasted fetching these few pins together. I stand shouting by my water, and nobody thinks it worth the stopping and buying or greedily drinks it. So, buy water, you devils. So, what we see here is that another condition of the society where, as Wang has said before, also that when during summer season and he has to walk hard because he has to go farther to bring water, and during rainy season when the water is available, no one buys his water. Okay, years went by without it raining. How they would all shout, "Give me water!" So, what we see here is that Brest, one way of driving home the political or the emotional message is through the use of songs. Okay, the song in the plays were also important factor in establishing the alienation effect. If seeing these lovey-dovey scenes before the coming closing and the coming of two people closer, one might be swept away off their feet, of his feet. But this song of a suddenly coming of the song will establish the alienation effect. These songs can seem quite comic, but they very often have a menacing undertone. The most important thing about these songs is Brecht plays was their political and moral content. Okay, these songs are often placed at the end of the very end or very near the end of a particular important scene or in an interlude. The songs have been purposely placed for the writer wanted the audience to reflect upon the things that are happening. Okay, the Good Person of Szechwan has 6 songs which are purposely placed where they are to um, drive home to the audience an important moral or political issue that the playwright wants the audience to think about that moment in time. The song's use was an important factor in his development in the epic theatre. He considered that these songs helped the alienation effect by breaking up the continuity of the action and helping the to prevent any chance of the audience becoming hypnotized by the performance. Okay, so this water poem is doing the same thing. Clear? So a line, oh stop you leaky heavens, hoard that stock I have got remaining. Recently I dreamed that 7 years went by without it raining. How they would all shout, give me water. So what we see here is that even though Wang is Wang belongs to a section where he has to earn his living by toil of the day and toiling very hard. Even then he is thinking of profit. The capitalist ideology of gain profit is present within him too by doing harm to others. He dreamed that the 7 years went by without rain and everyone was shouting for water and more water. Okay, so what we see here is a stay thirsty you devils, but what are you devils? I left shouting by my water and nobody thinks it. What is stopping and buying or greedily drinks it. The rain has stopped. Shente sees Wang and runs towards him. So Shente, oh Wang, so have you come back? I have looked after your pole for you. Thank you for taking care of it. How are you, Shente? And they are talking along. That Shente says that she has taken care of the pole of Wang that the gods have given to her and asked Shente to give it back to Wang. Throw your head back and I would like to buy a cup of water. Okay, so Shente says that she would like to buy a cup of water. Wang, throw your head back and open your mouth and you can have as much water as you want. So Wang is saying sarcastically that as it is raining, you can open your mouth and tilt your head back and you can have lot of water directly from rain. Okay, also the willow tree is still dripping and you can have water from that. You might be today's readers or listeners might be thinking that so gross it is, because we use purified water and everything, bottled purified water or aquaguard and everything, purifiers. But in those times it was not the tradition. Even today in villages it is very common to store rainwater and use that for drink or from ponds and everything, whatever. So Shente says that but I want your water, Wang, laboriously carried, exhausting to its bearer, and hard to sell. Underline those things, those lines. So what we see here is that Shente is compassionate. Shente understands the labor of the person. Shente understands what problems Wang goes through in order to get the water, and how he manages to get that. Okay, and even after bringing that, he is not able to sell it. So in order to help him earn something, she is buying water from Wang. We should also do the same. Those people who belong to upper middle class or the rich class and everything, upper class, those who can afford, they should save something. They should keep some money aside for some people, not to give as bhik, not to give it as charity, but to make that person earn for it. For example, you can see several people selling incense sticks or almost unnecessary things. You can spend 10 rupees to buy that for them. That 10 rupees would be more important to them than in your pocket, right? You spend so many money for useless things, but for that children, and you can see in cities, you can see that small children selling incense sticks or something, or this thing or that, but the most important thing is that you should buy from them and not give them anything without the job, because that will make a habit. Though you can question me by saying that I am enhancing in child labor, but I would say that I am not enhancing child labor, but I am empowering them. Okay, because they are already on their way of giving their labor out. They are child and giving their labor out. That is the only way they can survive. And if I do charity, they will survive for one day, the day they met me. But if I make them empowered, they will be able to believe in themselves. They will be able to believe in their quality, their ability to sell things, and who knows, they might earn from that and become a businessman. Okay, so the possibility should be nurtured wherever possible. Yes, obviously you can take care of that child and send him to school and everything, but everything education cannot justify. Everything education cannot solve. The problem of our country is so much that most people come to government schools. Most children come to government schools only because of the midday meals, because they will get to eat something, and through that they will learn something. But the hunger is the most important thing. So if you get to see a person who is trying to sell something. It might be a comb, it might be a nail cutter, or it might be anything. You search what you need and help that person to empower himself. Help that person to empower that person only. He would be do it on his own. Make him give him confidence. Okay, in trains or anywhere you can find this kind of people. It is your duty to help the nation. It is your duty to help the nation to grow. Okay, by helping this kind of people, the lowest sections of the society, with your money which you have wasted on cigarettes or anything unnecessary, you will be able to help that person and the family grow. Okay, so she pays and runs over to Sun with the cup. Shente calls back to Wang, laughing. He has fallen asleep. Hopelessness and the rain. I have tired him out. So, what we see here is that Shente is a person. Shente's character is still the same. Shente is willing to help the person. Not only the one, and she has fallen for the one, and she has started liking, or she is helping in through many aspects. Number one is she is saving the life of the person. Next, she is listening to that person and consoling him. And thirdly, she is trying to provide what is in her capacity at that moment, that is water, to that person, that is young son, as he says that he is not drunk for a day. And by doing so, fourthly, she has also helped Wang, okay, who was unable to sell anything due to the rain, as no one will buy due to rain. Okay, so what we see here is that she is a compassionate soul. She is a person who helps everyone who comes her way. Okay, we will discuss the next sections in next class. Thank you for listening.